Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Career Tip Tuesday. We are your co-hosts, Sherry Sims and Makeda Matthews. Look who is back.
Hi, y'all. I missed y'all.
I am so happy she is back. You guys have no idea how thrilled I am. I'm like the Long Ranger by myself for a while. So
Happy to be back. Happy to be back.
absolutely. You all know the drill. When you come in, please let us know where you are watching from so we will know what part of the country you are tuning in from. And please, for Career Tip Tuesday, please ask us any questions you want to for our topic for today. So today we're going to talk about a little bit of, if you've seen this in the news, you've seen a lot of articles out there around social media around how 300,000 plus Black women have been laid off for their jobs. Majority of them have been in the public sector. And so what we want to do today is talk a little bit more around strategies that Black women can use after a job loss and what that looks like. And so Makeda and I did have a side conversation prior to coming on live, and I kind of gave her my thoughts around the whole thing around so many Black women being laid off in the public sector. And that even though I know some of that may be a little bit more around like race related, but I know some of that too is we have a lot of Black women in that sector, right? And so, and we were talking about why is that? Why are there so many in that sector? Is it because it's a fairly, great place to work in terms of government and that you can get comfortable in that space? Or what? We don't want to assume anything, but we also want to think about why is that? And so what we want to do today is give you some tips and some things you can do to reframe how you look at your job search. And because some people have been thrown into this unexpectedly, they weren't prepared for what job searching may look like now in the way that the job search is in today's, post-COVID. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. McKinney, you have any thoughts around this?
Yeah, I definitely think it is unfortunate. And our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with everybody who has lost their job. Like Sherry said, there's definitely some tips and tricks. So we're excited to be with you all to share some of those things. But I'm very curious to understand why there are so many Black women in this sector. I know I did my own internship in the public sector, and I wanted to go back. But I can't say that it was because it was the right reasons. I wanted to go back because it was Washington, D.C. Okay. I wanted to be in Chocolate City. I'm not even gonna lie. I am not. Um, but that's not the way that God had my plans. But um, yeah, I if anybody on here, after you introduce yourself, let us know where you're from. Let us know why. What are your thoughts? Why did you decide to go into the public sector, and what are your thoughts in terms of why is there such a huge concentration of Black women there?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question to ask, right? And even though it is a great, that is a great career move. And I think because it is the government, sometimes we can get comfortable and say this is where we are. But then the reality of it is that we have prepared for for a job search, where other industries may be more used to that cycle of let me be prepared for what could happen. And so I think this is definitely an eye opener for anyone in any career, regardless of your industry, whether it is one is stable or not, just to make sure that you have to look at if you have, what you need in place to prepare for a job search, whether it was planned or unexpected. So yeah, please, like Makeda said, we want to know, what was your reasoning for wanting to go into public sector? Just out of curiosity, just to share your thoughts around that, because a lot of times that can be the reason why maybe you're not prepared for a job loss if you have been impacted by that. And we definitely want to make sure that you have the support and the tools you need to work through this.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that we want to talk about is reframing your skills for transferable value. And I think that you and I talked about what this looks like, because if you are thinking that you want to get back into the government sector, but knowing what it's like right now, that may not be an option for you, depending on what you were doing. How can you pivot?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Pivoting can be done in a multitude of ways. I think the government is an organization, it is an enterprise in and of itself. I think it's about really utilizing the correct language. We all know that there's a specific language that is in the government, and that translates differently in the private sector. So I think reframing is starts off with the use of your language. And I am very much, I'm becoming a chat GPT expert. Utilize it.
Yeah.
No, really, utilize it. Make it easier on yourself. We do know that, AI and large language models definitely have some bias there. So you're going to have to audit things, but make it easy on yourself and utilize some of these new AI tools to help you
Mhm.
reframe by using the correct language.
Absolutely. And then think about these highly transferable areas you can go into, which would be corporate, nonprofit, healthcare, tech, education. And not only that, but you think about the different skill sets: project management, compliance, policy, people management,
Mhm,
communication. Think
mhm,
about your skill sets and how can those be transferable into to different areas. And this may give you an opportunity to think about a whole new career that maybe you were thinking about before, but maybe were afraid to start. But now you don't have no choice but to rethink, right? What that
right.
look like. And this could be the perfect opportunity for you to pivot into something else and use other talents or use your skill sets in a very different way that could also bring joy and satisfaction to what you do.
That's right. That's right.
Right. The next one is leveraging your network immediately.
Hmm.
Right.
Yes. Let your people know. Let everybody know. Turn on that open to work symbol on or notification on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Let your Facebook network know. For those of us who did go to college, let your alumni network know, get involved there immediately. Let Sherry know, let myself know, let the BCWN network know that you are looking. Because nowadays, LinkedIn and all the rest of the job search networks are great, but people are your best resources. They
Yeah.
are the ones that are in the organizations, in the companies, in the nonprofits that can vouch for you. We've got to use them.
And not only that, but BCWN also has a job board. For those of you who don't know, and we have employers who post their career opportunities on our job board all the time. And what's great about our job board is that the individual companies that are posting their jobs on our job board are definitely seeking Black female talent. So
Mhm.
bookmark our link to our job board and keep that along with your Indeed and your LinkedIn and all the others, because again, that's another creative resource you could be using to to look for career opportunities. So I want to make sure that I added that link to our job board. I mean, to our job board. Hi Felicia, thank you for joining in. She says thanks for these tips, we appreciate you guys sharing. Of course, this is what we are here for. All right, Makeda, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one is reevaluate and broaden your search. To Sherry's point earlier, maybe this is a completely new career. We have to think about that,
Mm,
right? This might be a time for reinvention and redevelopment of one's self. Maybe it is time for us to start looking outside of, that sort of track or scope that we were on, utilize those transferable skills and lean into a position.
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
if you've been targeting one specific job and nothing's been nothing's been transpiring, then think about, are you limiting yourself by just
Mhm,
focusing on that
mhm,
particular
mhm,
role
mhm,
because that's what you're comfortable or familiar with. Uh,
mhm,
more than ever, job searches now we know are on an average can take anywhere between if you have a network well connected, less than 6 months, right?
mhm,
You don't, or if you have a network that hasn't been cultivated, I mean, it could take you. Some people are taking up to 1 to 2 years, depending on, you know,
mhm,
what they're looking for and what industry they work in. Now,
mhm,
scare anyone. What we want you to do is to be realistic on how long it may take. And having a strong network will actually reduce your time that you will find an opportunity if you have a strong network of people that you can connect with that can refer you.
That's it. That's right. That's right. And I do want to submit this. I don't think this is for everybody, but I think for the people where this might be easy because they, lack such responsibilities like kids and, having a husband or a wife or what have you, look internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Look internationally. Um, if looking in the United States seems to be stagnant. There are tons of companies around the world that have similar departments, similar needs, what have you. And this might be an opportunity for you to um, do something different, learn a new culture,
I love that.
learn a new language, and then maybe come back when the time is right for you. But looking at this specific time of your life as an opportunity, see truly what else is out there. Do something that you maybe have always thought of, like Sherry said, that you've just never had the ability to. Look internationally. Great opportunities, great ways to really broaden just your general knowledge of life.
No, I love that. Such great advice that you're giving. See, that's why we missed you. That's why we missed you. Because no, she's absolutely right. This is a great time to be open to what that looks like. And I know some of you are like, sure, we got bills to pay. We understand that, but we
Yeah,
still need to be open
yeah.
because being open means that you may find an opportunity faster than just trying to stay in this one track or keeping yourself limited
Mhm,
with one certain industry or one certain job title.
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
you probably could get back to work faster if you be open to that, which is great. Which leads us into the next thing when we're talking about job searching, which is refreshing your strategy every 90 days. I think this is important because
Mhm,
sometimes you have to shift tactics if one thing's not working. Maybe you need to network more. Maybe you need to attend career fairs. Maybe you need to maybe start scheduling informational interviews. Maybe you need to look at your resume or your LinkedIn and update that, but treat your job search like a project, like a plan, with milestones in tracking it that way. Now, I will say, I don't want to call anybody out, but I was at an event that I went to over the weekend, and I was sitting in line to get my food with this individual, and they were talking, and I was sharing, and she was talking about how she's not working currently, and she's job searching, and she's getting frustrated. And I was like, I told her about what I do and all the things. And then when she says, and I don't have a LinkedIn profile. I was like, oh. And I'm like, you're job searching and you do not have a LinkedIn profile? I was like, this is like blasphemy. What are you doing?
mhm. Right, right, right.
Heard that, and I kind of share with her the value of having a LinkedIn profile and what that can do to her job search as well in terms of connecting and all the things. And so again, make sure those things are up to date. Make sure you have a profile.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Don't, we need you need work, call us. We're here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think this ties into the next one. We really have to get on top of these new um, uh, digital AI, ML, large language models type of tools. We really, really, really do. Getting into um, understanding what is out there, what's growing rapidly,
Mm-hmm.
new sites, new social media platforms. Um, Lean on your millennial or your Gen Zer in your life to let you know to let you know what's out there. But
Yeah.
it's 2025 and things are changing at a more rapid pace than we could have ever imagined.
Yes.
So
And
learn what is out there.
yeah, and
Learn what is out there.
top of that. Yeah, and I do think too, coming from public sector, coming from government, it is different. It's a different way of working. It is a different way of moving too, I think. And so you do have to think about okay, how can I get in the pace of how things are moving now? And when it comes to resume and resources, there's a lot out there. Kick Resume is probably one of my favorite places where you can go and have your, feed it the information. It'll come out with a stellar resume for you.
Mhm.
So I think there's, you don't have to worry about, do I have to find a resume writer? You can if you want to work with someone specifically, but then there are some, AI driven types of tools that can help you with your resume. And that goes into another thing I want to kind of cover too, really quickly is, I know that I have seen some information floating around recruiters, taking resumes and verifying if they were written by AI. Who gives a damn if it was or not? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All we're doing is using it to make sure that it is taking it and being able to really describe what we do in a very professional way, or using the right business acumen so it can be clear about what we're doing. I mean, your resume is a way to sell yourself, like your LinkedIn page is. Who cares if AI helped you write it? So I think that if for any recruiters out there with that mindset, get away from that, because at the end of the day, you're using it to search. Why can't candidates use it to help to refine their resume? So
Right.
I just wanted to say that, because
Right.
that's just ridiculous.
No, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah. Taisha says, good afternoon. I'm looking forward to utilizing these great tips in 2 years when I depart from my current org. I'll hit my 25-year mark. Congrats to you. She said, thank you for sharing that. BCWN has a job posting link. I haven't been on it long. You always have the best advice and tips. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. We
And
appreciate
congrats on almost hitting your 25-year mark. That's an amazing
that.
accomplishment.
Is it amazing? Yeah, because that, and kudos to you for that, because you must have a great culture to be able to sustain that grade and have a good trajectory in there. So
Mhm,
congratulations to you
mhm,
for that.
mhm,
Ricky,
mhm.
you want to take the next one?
Yeah, so we alluded to this a little bit ago, but pivoting into growing industries. The great thing is there's something new every single day, it seems like. But enterprises are still enterprises. They still need the HR functions. They still need the supply chain functions. They still need the marketing functions. They still need all of the various functions and some new ones because it's a growing or new industry. Um, the then task or to do thing for you is to know the industry, learn about it, become a part of you know, different industry groups or what have you, or just simply start watching YouTube on some things and learning. Utilize all the free resources that you have to understand what these growing industries are.
Mm,
Find some sort of way to make yourself an expert in this growing industry and let them know why they need you. Let these new enterprises know why they need you.
yeah, highlight those skills that you have, that even though it may not be in the public sector, but they still could be in demand skills.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
so
That's
that is
right.
why taking an
That's
inventory,
right. That's
we
right.
have an actual skills inventory, workbook
Yeah.
that you can use to assess your
Yeah.
skills and where they can, what they can, sectors they can go into. And there's
Yeah.
out there too that you can put in your experience, and it'll come back and tell you what careers would be a good match based on those. And
That's right.
also kind of also use a filter to say not public sector, because just in case you don't want to go back into that, or
That's
you
right.
see what else is out there for you that you can do. So yeah, look
And
at go ahead.
I was just going to say also, let me submit this, from my vantage point, sitting where I sit in supply chain, um, the government is the largest buyer. Our US government is the largest buyer
Yeah.
in the world. And so when we're talking about new and growing industries and, the government very well might need it for the sustainment of the economy, our agriculture, what have you. And just you, if you are, do have government experience or public experience, that is valuable in and of itself to a company who is looking to do business with the government. So
Mm.
don't overlook that as well. Do not overlook that you know how that all works. You can bring that expertise to a growing or new industry that is looking to do business.
I love
Or
that. So which leads us into the next one, which is build a career bridge plan. What is
Mhm.
that, right? So what build a career bridge plan means is take on contract, freelance, or project work in between while you're job searching, right? Even if it's not a full-time position, but it could be a full-time contract role for 6 months or for 3 months. Or it could be a part-time project work, contract work. Freelance are going to pay a higher hourly rate versus your annual salary because you are contracted. They don't have to pay you benefits and all the things. So it could be a great way to make a larger amount of money for a shorter period of time. Managing your money well, you can make that stretch. But also, too, it gives you an opportunity to keep your skill sets active while you're searching. And it also can eliminate large gaps on your resume because you are working, these short-term, contract roles or freelance or whatever they are. So it still keeps working, still keeps your skill sets rich. You want anything to add to that?
No, nothing to add on that. That's a great way to do a bridge plan for sure.
Yeah, that absolutely can. And here's the thing, you never know that one of those opportunities could turn into a full-time position. Or what I find sometimes is that when you're working those contract roles, freelance or whatever those are, they may know of an opportunity and they can refer you. And I'll give you an example. Okay, I was working, this was years ago, I worked at a contract position. And during the meeting, one of the leader was like, we have this position that's open. It's been tough to fill. We don't know how we're going to fill it. And I was looking at the job description and I said, oh, I think I know somebody this would be perfect for. Right? So I'm a contractor in the company. I'm not permanent. I know what my last day is going to be. But yet I referred an individual to them for the role that they've been having a hard time filling. And this person got the job. So again, me being in this contract role and then having access to, and they happened to mention about this role, I was able to refer someone. And so again, you never know what that could be. I remember years ago, I was working in a contract job and a tornado hit the building and all of us ended up getting laid off. On my very last day, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm like, I just started this gig 3 months ago. It was supposed to be a 6-month gig. Well, come to find out, the husband, the lady that called me for a job, her husband worked in the same building I did, and they were up there. I need to find a recruiter, and I don't know where to find one. He said, "Hey, Sherry and my job, we're all getting laid off. She's probably gonna be open. Give her a call." So her husband referred his wife for a position, right? You just never know where that's gonna come from.
You never know. You never know.
Keep your eyes and ears open when you're doing contract, freelance, project work because your next job could come from being in one of these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would just share that. The next one is strengthen your digital presence. I know we talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yes, we did. We did. Yeah, we have to. We have to. We're living in such a digital connected world. And again, to the points that we have made previously, people are looking. They might be here in the United States. Your next opportunity might come from somebody in Colorado, and you're in New York. Your next opportunity might come from somebody in Germany, and you are in Atlanta. Your digital presence has to be there. And what does that mean? A, everything updated. B, showcasing that you are an expert in whatever field that you are in or whatever you're desiring to be in. Being engaging, always having some posts, a couple posts a week, participating in live streams, making some comments on other folks whom are seen as experts in the industry. There's different ways to show your expertise, but your digital presence should be seen, and it should be seen as such. You are an expert.
Yep. Absolutely. She's absolutely right. And I think just to add to that, when you are cultivating your digital presence, highlighting those things that you know are your superpowers, right? If you don't know what those are, think about what you do well. It comes effortlessly, which is natural for you. More than likely, it is a strength because it comes effortlessly to you. But just remember this: Okay, recruiters and hiring managers, and I used to be one. Okay, they're going to find if your resume comes to their applicant tracking system through their job requisition, they're going to look at your resume, and then the next place they're going to is your LinkedIn to see if there is any additional information they can find out about you. Not negative, but what tells the story about who you are and what you bring to the table, right? Your resume can sell you, but it only can say so much. Where your LinkedIn is an extension of that, and really you can highlight and showcase and show you in a way that sometimes your resume just can't, because it's all this text. So just think about that. Your LinkedIn is an extension of being able to showcase who you are from a professional standpoint and what you bring to the table. And so just know that when recruiters find you, the next place they're going to is your LinkedIn, so they can find out more about how much of a good fit, talent, skill set you have, which can pique their interest more to give you a call. Yeah, think about it from that perspective. That's where they're going first after they get your resume.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And our last one is protect your confidence and your mental health. Yeah.
Yep. We do. Yeah. We have to. There are times where we have to ask ourselves, is this worth it?
Give yourself permission to grieve the loss of the job, the comfort that brought with that.
Yep. Give yourself some grace. Know that you are good, you are well, you are smart. This is could have happened to anybody, right? So give yourself time, space to grieve. Give yourself grace, and spend that time. What is it? Somebody has said, feel your feelings, and then you gotta go.
Yeah, and do not internalize your worth because it was time to go, right? You have to look at what does this mean for you next. For those of you who may not, I remember when Enron went belly up back in the early 2000s, and I worked for a company who indirectly kind of supported them, but they lost. The company I worked for lost $5 million because the partnership they had with Enron. Well, guess what? A lot of people end up getting laid off of my job because we wouldn't work for Enron, but because of the partnership they had and the money they lost, a lot of us were impacted by the Enron scandal, and I was one of them. And I was in a job that I loved and didn't think I was going anywhere, and ended up losing my job, got laid off behind that. But it pivoted me into another. I took that time to say, you know what? I think it's time for me now to start looking at this next level in HR and start pursuing that, and I did. So just take that time to, like Makeda said, grieve or give yourself grace. Don't internalize it. Don't say, why me? Because maybe look at what else you have to offer that you're not utilizing. And we know that being laid off can take a toll. It really can. It's not planned for. But find a community. Stay engaged.
Find community. Yes. Yes.
Ongoing strategy, and that's what BCWN is here for. In our community, and being proactive in your search. It's important. All right, we have our career smart tip. Oh, Rashonda said, I don't know why I needed the permission to hear this. I'm glad it was said. Thank you. Like, you're so welcome, Rashonda. Of course. We have to remember that, job loss can be scary for some people, but if you really sit back and think about strategy and what you bring to the table and really think outside the box and take some chances and think about how you can use your skill sets in different ways.
Yep.
It can be okay.
That's right. Okay. Sure can.
Another LinkedIn user, I need to be on here and hear this well. Thank you both for providing tips and insight. Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Here's our career smart tip for the day. Makeda, you want to read that? Look, I'm giving it all to Makeda. She did it now.
Sherry said, you missed so much. Read everything. No, I'm kidding. Your power is not defined by a layoff. It sure isn't. It's defined by how quickly you regroup, reposition, and re enter the marketplace with clarity and confidence.
Absolutely. So just think about that, right? That is hugely important because we don't want you to start to get to a place, and I know, like I said, I know it's scary because we're like, look, Sherry, Makeda, we got bills to pay. Y'all over here, but no, we got bills to pay. We
We get
don't.
it. We get it. We get it. We do. We do. We get it.
We get it, we know it, and I have been in that place where I've been laid off several jobs and have been in that place, and I had to pivot quickly. And one of the quickest and smartest ways that I did that to keep things going is I took those contract freelance and project work. And that's what kept me going in between those, finding those full-time jobs. And I made it clear I'm looking for full-time work. So I may take off to go to this interview, and having that flexibility. So you just have to be open, open to that. And I know we are in a very different time when it comes to how this job search piece is working and how long it's taking. So again, we want you to know that. Kim says suggestions on how to explain employment gap when you're laid off, menopause, racism, and taking a mental break too. Yeah,
Great
I
question.
think it's nowadays having a gap in your employment after laid off is not really, it's not like it's really going to hurt your chances of employment anymore. You have people who take sabbaticals now. I took my job and I took off 6 months. Now I'm back in the workforce. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're no longer marketable, because you still have assets and skills that are going to be needed. So it's just about, I guess the reason is it because you have the employment gap because you were laid off, or if you were terminated, you may not want to say that you were termed. You might want to just, think about how you want to share that information. But if it's something that is personal, you just got to craft it in a way that's comfortable for you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, you know, I remember when I started out as a professional, it was you do not have employment gaps at all. A month, mm-mm. 2 months, nothing. It was you cannot take a year off for a leave of absence. You could not go take a year off to go explore Panama and Peru and all of these different things that we do. But that's just not the case anymore. Um, I, I think when you are explaining an employment gap, as long as, first of all, it my personal thoughts, it's really nobody's business why you
Yeah.
took the gap. It really isn't. But I think you say something, along the lines of whatever that gap was, I bettered myself for me, for my next role. I gained more clarity. I gained additional tools and skills or what have you. That's all they need to know is
Mm.
that you are ready. I don't think it's anybody's. I don't think it's anybody's. I don't think you need to really explain why you did what you did. I think you just need to say you're ready now and you somehow, some way got better. That's it. That's my personal opinion on it.
And you think about it, on LinkedIn is a place where you can even put your gaps, where it didn't used to be like that on LinkedIn. Now you can.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa says, I have a gap and figured out in working with the recruiter how to put a spin on. Oh yeah, you always gonna put a spin on it. But if you notice, Kim, I didn't tell you how to spin it, right? Because you got to do that yourself.
That's
But
right. That's right. That's
you
right. Let me
know,
tell y'all, I take a gap. I'm learning Mandarin. Okay, that's what I'm doing. That's what I am doing.
yeah,
It doesn't it doesn't matter what, but I do think that we somehow, some way do find ways to utilize that gap to better ourselves, and that is the only thing that matters.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because and Brenda makes a good point. That's why I just put it up on the screen here. She says sometimes the extra volunteering community related tasks that you can use those to fill in the gap, and you
Mm-hmm.
and you can,
Mm-hmm.
right, if you
Mm-hmm.
choose to do. So I think it's about, like I said, getting crafty with that. And nowadays, again, taking the time off in between, is not as much of an issue as it used to be. And also too, because, they do, these recruiters know and these hiring managers know that these job searches are taking longer to land a role. And a lot of it's because and look, I'm just going to say it because I can, because a lot of it is there. You know what I mean? And how they are going about this hiring process now, which, that's a conversation for another live that I can talk about all day. But I do think that some of that can change if they also change how they're practicing, how they recruit and how they hire too. That anybody who want to challenge me, go on my DM and we can talk about that. Yes, indeed. All right. So if I don't know if you all just recognize, but in the inside of the chat area on our BCWN page, I just added a free resource. It's called 6 Power Moves Every Black Woman Needs to Know. It is a digital smart guide that we have shared as our thank you for being on our live today with us. So please, if you go into the comment section in the LinkedIn area, I put it in there. And that way, please go and grab it and download it.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you want to connect with us, you can through bcwnetwork.com. We do have a mobile app, which is almost ready. Thank God. The redesign is almost ready. That you can access. So we actually have had our app now for 5 years now, but we have just went through a redesign over the summer, so it's almost ready to launch. So please, we'll go ahead and access the download for 6 Power Moves Every Black Woman Should Know to give you some insight. And if you do want to connect with us, you can contact myself or Makeda on LinkedIn, or connect with us through BCWN.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words for our viewers before we go?
My final words: stay encouraged. Remember, there's 2 ways to look at things. We know, a loss of a job hurts, be in your feelings, but there's an opportunity on the other side. Leverage that opportunity for you.
Before we go, we want to answer Deborah's question. She says, "Good day about the hidden job market. My question is, why are these jobs hidden? And if they are, I appreciate answering the question." I can answer that. I know that people say there's a hidden job market, and to be completely transparent, there is not. What that really means is that there are positions that probably have not been posted where the public can have access to those positions. So a hidden job market really is nothing but a company that they have an internal role that needs to be filled, whether it's a new position they created or one that has just come vacant, or someone has moved into an internal move. Now the positions come open and they're looking to fill it, but they may not have necessarily created a job post to put it out there to the public. And they're looking for other ways to fill the role, which means they're looking for employee referrals that they can look at those candidates, or they're looking at referrals externally from in their network about who they know to refer them to the position. And a lot of times what happens is, I'm telling the recruiter secrets now. What happens is the recruiters will have a requisition that will be open, but it may not be posted to the public, but they have it open so that any referrals that come in, they can put that person in that requisition to take them through the process. So that's really what a hidden job market is. Now, you may have some other people beg to differ, but if you think that's really what a hidden job market is positions that have not been available and open to the public to be able to post. Those individuals are looking for referrals. You see this a lot with people who are looking for C-suite individuals or VPs. They won't post jobs. What they'll do is they will go to either like a third party headhunter or an executive recruiter, like internally, and call them and say, "Hey, who's in your network that may be good for this role? We're not posting it out to the public, but we're looking for referrals." So that's really what a hidden job market is. It's not accessible for your average day looking person who's searching. That's why having a network is good, because if you're networking and letting people know that you're looking, they may have access to someone who says, "Hey, didn't you say you are looking for such and such, even though it's not posted? Yeah, send them my resume." So that's another reason why networking is important, or having a strong network, because you may get access or referrals to those roles that are not publicized. So that's really what that means. Roshana says she's having trouble finding the link. Okay, I'll drop it in the chat again. No worries. I'm gonna drop it again. And you probably didn't see it because other people probably started typing, but I just put it in again. So you should be able to see it now. All right, Makeda, I know we've kept you over. So again, you all, thank you so much for today's joining us for today's Career Tip Tuesday. You know how to find Makeda and I. You can find us on LinkedIn, or please reach out to us on bcwnetwork.com. I promise that our mobile app will be back up for you all to be able to access in our community and be a part of our circle. Remember, we do have our job search board. Again, I'm going to post that again one more time. bcwnetwork.com/jobs. If you're looking for a career opportunity, check out our job board. If you have a specific role that you are interested in, contact us, and we will and send us that resume. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to the recruiter. So if you see something on that list, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to send that over as a referral to that employer. So we want to let you know that. All right. We are out of here. Again, you all have an amazing rest of your work week, and we will see you all in 2 weeks.
All right. Bye, everyone. Take care.